real good feeling. Right now, 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 right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over some of the FUD that we have seen in cryptocurrency, and we're going to be attempting to fight it. Unfortunately, it was a little short delay. We couldn't get our FUD fighter outfit on, but we will be working on that. We're also going to be going over a ton of different analysts' take on where Bitcoin is heading by the end of this year, and we're going to be discussing where we believe that Bitcoin will be by the end of this year. And then we're also going to be doing a new segment. We're going to be starting a new segment called Major Movers, and we're going to look at 3 major altcoin movers over the last couple of days. We're going to be updating you on what they are, where they are, and why they are where they are, and we're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's stream, so make sure you smash that like button if you are looking forward to it. I am joined, as always, by my co-host and your president, Kinda Crypto Tim. How you doing,
What is
Tim?
up, everybody? I am here. I am present. I'm excited about the day.
Are you present or president?
Both.
You know, when I was in
Yes.
3rd grade, there was this kid that we would all say present, and then he would always say president, and it was cute, right? Because we were in 2nd grade. So I tried that one time, and they made me stand in the corner for copying. And that's Smay. Welcome to Smay, our producer.
Quite disturbing.
Hello, everybody. I just thought the joke was so funny, I laughed.
That wasn't a joke. That's a true story. That was not a joke. I was just telling a story. Smay, you're responsible for today's thumbnail.
Yes, I thought it was really good. I did a good job with it, guys. Thank you for telling me I did a good job. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, for everyone who came from around the blockchain yesterday, welcome to our weird and wacky world of Crypto Jeb and my friends here who are very, very, very excited to be here. I don't know. But, guys, we have a lot that we want to go over. We're going to go ahead and dive into a couple of articles here. I have a prediction coming out of none other than Plan B, the person responsible for the stock-to-flow price prediction model that you guys are almost certainly familiar with. So let's go ahead and jump onto my chart because he has some interesting predictions for where Bitcoin might be by the end of this year, and we're going to discuss what we think. He predicts that the worst-case scenario for Bitcoin is $135,000 for December, says the stock-to-flow creator. He lays out the worst-case scenario and the best-case scenario for 2021. The pseudonymous creator of the popular stock-to-flow Bitcoin price model, Plan B, has published his worst-case scenario for 2021 predictions on social media and Sundays. The analyst says there is also a more fundamental reason to see Bitcoin's prices have been dropping in June and how the month of July may see weakness as well. Best case scenario, $450,000. Worst case scenario, $135,000. Now, you guys have almost certainly seen this chart right here. This shows the actual Bitcoin price, and the color represents how far away you are from a halving cycle. The stock-to-flow model is based on this idea of the stock-to-flow ratio, which is a ratio between how much Bitcoin is in existence and how much Bitcoin is being created. It's a way that we can measure something called the scarcity of Bitcoin. Remember, the thing that underpins Bitcoin's value and its ability to store value is that limited supply. So the stock-to-flow ratio being high for Bitcoin is a very good thing. What Plan B has done is he has taken the stock-to-flow model and he has used the stock-to-flow ratio, to create what he calls the stock-to-flow model with price predictions behind it. Now, I don't know that I totally agree with his price predictions here. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I do want to go over what he has to say. Bitcoin is below $34,000, triggered by Elon Musk's energy FUD and China's mining crackdown, Plan B tweeted. There's also a more fundamental reason that we may see weakness in June and possibly July. My worst case scenario for 2021, price over on-chain based August, over $47,000. September, over $43,000. October, over $63,000. November, over $98,000. And December, over $135,000. So, guys, we have, I think, 5 other analysts that we want to talk about and what their predictions for cryptocurrency are. I want to bring as many opinions to the forefront so that you guys have a plethora of understanding of what's going on in the space. But really quickly, before we move on to those, I want to ask the people that are sitting in this room with me what they think about those predictions. Tim, what is your best and worst case scenario for 2021?
It's hard. Okay, so ultimately, the true worst case scenario is 0. Best case scenario, $1 billion.
Yeah.
But when we get realistic, obviously, worst case scenario, I would say would be despite maybe hitting some recent highs and lows, so maybe getting back up over 40, maybe even over 42, but then dropping again below 30. I think the worst case scenario is we continue to do that. There's a lot of, as the Bulls and the Bears continue to fight each other week after week, we continue to see this accumulation just continue. I don't think that's going to happen. Best case scenario, though, I think realistically, and again, it's really hard to say for certain, but I think it'd be hard for Bitcoin to get over 200 by the end of the year. That doesn't mean by the end of the bull cycle, because I think the bull cycle will continue past the new year, but we're talking about what it would look like December of 2021 as we go into 2022. I cannot see that 450 being true. That would be a ridiculous rally. But again, I mean, it would be possible. The route to making that possible would be if Kevin O'Leary is 100% true and saying that there are trillions with an S on the end of institutional dollars waiting to come into Bitcoin as soon as Bitcoin proves that it is eco-friendly. But that being said, I don't think that's going to happen by the end of this year.
Yeah. So, Smay, what is your take on that?
Yeah, okay. So, I guess I have to say,
oh my God,
I got to be honest with you guys. I really find, just like we're already in June, right? We have roughly 6 months left in the year.
Which is crazy.
I really don't see, from right now, us surpassing 100K. I think in a best case scenario, we'll hit 100K or somewhere around 100K. But I think in a worst case scenario, I think we're stuck where we're at, if not a little bit lower. And I think my realistic prediction of where I think we'll probably end up being is probably somewhere back around 68 to 70. I personally don't think we're going to end the year over 100K or close to 200K. I think that's a little bit. I mean, there's nothing really founding it, in my opinion. Like, you can't look at history and say, oh, that's probably what's going to happen. Just because it took all up till now to the most we reached from January to now was we reached up to 68. So I don't know. I think it would take a lot.
Yeah, especially with what we're seeing happen at the end of this week, we're going to see the monthly futures contracts and the quarterly futures contracts expiring. We're going to talk about Bitcoin's technical analysis here in a little bit. I personally am not. I'm personally not convinced that we're out of the woods yet on this Bitcoin correction. I'm not totally convinced that it's over. My best and worst case scenario, just so you guys know, is I think worst case scenario we continue trading sideways in this $20,000 to $30,000 region, and best case scenario, yeah, I could see us going over $100,000, but probably not much farther past that. And the reason for that is because most of this rally that we saw was not built on institutions providing value to the everyday customer that is not hyped. As soon as the institutions are able to do that, as soon as we are able to create and generate and maintain that kind of demand in the space, then yes, we will be able to sustain higher prices. Unfortunately, what we've seen is Bitcoin rallied from 9,000 to 68,000, and now we're bottoming out here around the high 20s and low 30s because that is what we can support. Clearly, we weren't able to support $60,000 or we'd still be up there. What we did is we built the market on hype. That hype is gone, and now we're left with just the fundamentals. And by the way, the fundamentals are a hell of a lot stronger now than they were 2 years ago, so we should be happy about that. But how are we going to bring those fundamentals that high in the next 6 months? I just don't think it's likely. Yeah. However, I do think that a $450,000 Bitcoin eventually, just not by the end of this year, is almost certain. So anyway, if you guys
and I will say, to edit that, just because I had kind of a bit of a not super exciting price prediction, I will say that I still think it's not going to slow down Bitcoin's adoption. I think people are going to start adopting Bitcoin all over the world, and it's going to be moving very quickly. And that's what I'm more concerned about, less about the hype price pumps. I'm more excited about the actual adoption.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, eyes of the beholder even count. He said Smay isn't taking into account the hype cycle. Hasn't come close to happening. Here's the thing, go back to what we talked about yesterday when it comes to what the CBDCs are going to mean. Ultimately, I think all three of us were in agreement that CBDCs are not going to hurt Bitcoin. Rather, they potentially will help it. The question is on when. I go back to what I said yesterday is, well, I think long-term Bitcoin will see a mass adoption and CBDCs won't hurt that whatsoever. I do think it could delay. So when you talk about that hype cycle, I think that hype cycle could be delayed due to the fact that these CBDCs will be coming out. They will take some attention away from Bitcoin. That will stop it. I guess listening to all three of the predictions, I was the one who had the highest, best case scenario. I think all of us have kind of the same level of worst case scenario. It's really gonna be interesting. I actually do think that the thing to keep an eye on is what is the nature of the adoption of CBDCs and what these will actually look like, just being pretty much digital fiat currency.
Yeah, exactly.
I was showing them a video this morning. Not you, Jeb, but because you weren't here yet. But they're showing the that how in El Salvador they're having little training sessions and stuff to teach people how to exchange Bitcoin. And there's now small businesses there, small restaurants and so on that are now there are videos of them exchanging and purely they're towns now that are only exchanging Bitcoin in El Salvador already. Yeah. And I think that's like guys. And the way they show it off, it's not as complicated as a lot of people think. And I think that is one of the also barriers to, I think, adoption, that people are like, oh, it's a little complicated. So I think that was something really exciting to see, like you're saying with the CBDCs or whatever. Yeah. We're actually seeing it in action. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, every technology is going to be complicated when it first comes out. The internet was relatively complicated when it came out, and now everybody uses it. The thing that I tell people all the time is that a technology to become mass adopted needs to do two major things. It needs to make someone's life easier. The internet has made all of our lives easier and more convenient, for sure, and it needs to be cost-effective. The internet is cost-effective because it brings a lot more value to us than we have to pay to access it. That's why the internet became mass adopted. We're going to see the same thing happen on Bitcoin, and the final point I want to make before we move on to a couple other analyst predictions, we're probably not going to go into this much detail on each one of them, but many of you guys know Plan B, and I very much respect Plan B and his stock-to-flow model. By the way, shout out to Plan B. Don't want to act like I'm dissing him or anything, but I don't necessarily agree with the prediction. The final point I want to make here before we move on is that what we just saw happen in El Salvador is a linchpin. It is a pivotal turning point in the history of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I made this point on Around the Blockchain a couple of weeks ago. The things that change the world, generally speaking, are not front page news the day they happen. The events that led up to World War II, the very first ones that started the dominoes in motion, they weren't front page news. The events that led to the Cold War, the very first events, were not front page news. The events that led to the space race were not front page news. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, but generally speaking, they show up on page 14 because the first events that send an industry in a direction that will change the world, generally speaking, is not that big of a deal. At least that's not the way we look at it. What Smay just said about those videos of people just using Bitcoin in their everyday life, that is the biggest story we have heard in years on Bitcoin. The last time we heard a story that big was when entire countries like China started talking about it. That is huge. We now have countries adopting it. We don't want to forget that adoption. It's going to drive long-term price action, but it does take time. Don't get impatient just because we don't go to 500K this year. Guys, if you are enjoying today's stream, make sure to smash the heck out of that like button. Make sure if you don't like the stream to hit that dislike button twice, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We come live here 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and we wouldn't want to miss you. Let's go ahead and read a couple of super chats, Tim, and then we will move on.
Well, actually, let me, before we do that, also announcement, guys, today's podcast is going to be uploaded as a podcast.
Woo!
So, this video is going to... I would hope a podcast would be... You said a podcast.
You said a podcast.
Oh, today's stream is going to be uploaded as a podcast, guys. So I'm going to make sure, Jeb, make sure that you're pretty descriptive.
I will make sure that I do that.
But yeah, it's going to be very exciting. So if you guys are now wanting to listen on the go, in the car, in the bathtub, wherever you are, you can now listen to the podcast or the stream if you missed it on places like iTunes and Spotify. It's going to be great. Thank you.
Let's go.
We got some super chats here from Slippin' and Slappin'. He said, good morning, guys. Bought the Bitcoin Standard. Couldn't be more happy. Everyone should read it. Go .ADA, XRP, and Bitcoin. Love you, Smay.
Oh,
let's go.
That's cute. All right, Matt Sanchez said, Jeb, I'm curious when they are going to stop robbing you with the victory on ATBC, which is Around the Blockchain. Thanks for the great content. Best channel for TA, in my opinion. Keep it up.
I haven't been robbed of anything. Guys, look, yeah, I'm aware, just so you know. But am very, very thankful and grateful to be on Around the Blockchain, and I very much enjoy going on there. TJ, BJ, who works behind the scenes, Ben, all the different people that go on there. I have a freaking blast every time. I get in there like 15 minutes early and then stay for another 10 minutes normally. Have a great conversation with everyone over there. Don't have to worry about that. I love Around the Blockchain, whether it just doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I'm just very thankful to be over there and be able to have a platform to hopefully share some of the things that we stand for over there, that Ben and his channel also stand for, like integrity and trying to point you guys in the right direction and trying to help you guys actually become financially independent. I'm very thankful for the opportunity. That's what I have to say about that.
We got two more if you want to do them before we go.
Yeah,
on.
let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let me scroll to it. All right. Kale said, I am a UI/UX designer and have an app that is user-friendly and it has intuitive workflow, makes crypto a whole lot more appealing to newcomers.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. There are so many ways to make crypto more intuitive than it already is, and I think crypto is actually relatively intuitive. It's just everything is a learning curve. But things like that is what's going to help to lead Bitcoin adoption. Let's read this last one.
Last one. Agent Gold said, borrowed from next month's cost averaging budget to invest in CT2A instead of crypto.
Let's go.
Jeb, your mission is to provide enough value over the next 10 years to be worth missing out on 0.01 Bitcoin. Yep.
Hopefully we will be able to do that. You know, it's funny, the most valuable money that a politician or a business owner or an athlete or anyone of any kind of success, including traders and investors, ever make is an investment in themselves. You look throughout history, what do all successful people say? They say you gotta invest in yourself by reading books, by taking courses, by watching videos, by learning from other people, by being mentored, by gaining experience. That is what we are here to help you with, is help you move in the exact same direction that the greats throughout history have, which is involving themselves with self-education. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to a couple of other analysts and their predictions. Bitcoin price very near bottom with $30,000 dip, says bullish institutional report. Stack Funds draws attention to this week's $2.3 billion options expiry contract on Bitcoin, with a potential change in sentiment coming thereafter. Bitcoin is very close to the bottom and still commands a bullish long-term view, institutional crypto firm Stack Funds believes. In its latest report issued on June the 23rd, analyst Leonard Neo said that despite the price meltdown, there was no reason to flip bearish in Bitcoin, and I totally agree with him. Stack, Bitcoin macro view remains the same. Abso-friggin-lutely, guys. Pay attention to this. The report came the day after Bitcoin USD plummeted below $30,000 for the first time in 6 months, only to rebound to current levels above $34,000. Volatility came thanks to a mining shakeup, which it now appears will see hash power transfer en masse from China to other countries, which is actually something that we're going to talk about in this article over here that we're going to get into briefly. But Bitcoin 2 closed lower, diving 28% after falling to break $42,000 late last week. The digital asset has since regained some ground after a short squeeze in prices yesterday and is currently trading around the $34,000 handle. Our macro view remains the same, as we expect Bitcoin to establish ground on further consolidation. With that said, my take on this is the exact same take you have been hearing me say for the last 3.5 years that I've been running this channel. No matter what the price does, the fundamentals have continued to improve day after day after day for the last 13 years. And institutions, the smart money, the people that we want to be following, the whales, they are looking at a dip like this and they are saying this is a discount. This is a place that I can get cheap, relatively speaking. Bitcoin, by the way, Bitcoin is still worth 11 times more than it was 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago now when I got into the cryptocurrency space. I got in when it was at $3,000. It's at $34,000 and everybody's freaking out, you know? So my point here is this. The fundamentals have increased in value 10 times in the last 4 years. Where will they go in the next 4 years? The institutions understand this because the institutions have a long time horizon. We want to take that same stance. We want to have a long-term time horizon. Tim, what do you think about what they're saying? Do you think anything has changed? And what is some advice that you can give to our investors out there?
I don't think anything has changed. I think ultimately Bitcoin fundamentally is the same thing it was 2 months ago. You know, we've seen stuff come out about the FUD, and that's the whole point. Is, you know, because the thumbnail says we're FUD fighters. We saw a bunch of FUD come out, but FUD is
fighters.
not actually anything changed. I guess the biggest change is a positive change, which people want to paint as a negative change, and that is everything that's happening in China with the miners. You know, 2 months ago, we literally sat at this desk saying, okay, you know, if Bitcoin has an Achilles heel or a problem at the moment, it probably is that well more than 50% of the mining capacity is being done in China.
Yep.
That all changed. So ultimately, the FUD that came out about China is actually positive news. So that didn't change whatsoever.
Yep.
When it comes to the price, even, when the article's talking about the price, this is what hasn't changed. And people, I think I put on my Twitter this morning. You guys can follow me on Twitter, the crypto _ beard. I put on there, I was like, listen, people are really excited about this rally, but ultimately, I think we haven't finished our work below 30.
Yeah.
If you are doing technical analysis, I know this is on podcast, so I'm going to walk people through this, and you guys aren't even seeing it, those of you on YouTube. We were in a descending wedge starting back. If you look at, you start the bottom side back on June 9th, and you do the top side starting around June 14th. We are in a downward wedge that yesterday we did break bearish. We broke our support level, and then almost immediately bounced back up into it. Today, we broke our resistance level and came right back down. We're hovering right on the resistance level. Ultimately, we still have a little bit of work to do there. And if this chart holds up, it'll bring us back down here below 30. I've even said, moving on, I saw some in chats talk about the Wyckoff. They said, oh, this is the perfect thing for a spring. I don't know if that's true. Ultimately, if we're going to see a true spring the way Wyckoff has it and it looks perfect on the chart, there's a reason why I think that $24,000 that is it Robert Kiyosaki?
Yes, he said that. And
Said
so do
he's buying it at is because if you look at that, if you were to take a picture of the Wyckoff accumulation phase and you stapled it right over Bitcoin, there's some places where it varies a little bit, but overall it stays the same. I think you would find the bottom of that spring sitting close to that 24, 25, not 20. What we got to 27? Did we even break into the 27s?
I think we hit 28.8 on my chart.
28.8. So we didn't break that. Yeah, I don't think that was low enough for us to constitute and call it the spring. I would love to be wrong about that.
Yeah.
And I would love that if that was the spring and now we're just heading up. But as someone even mentioned here a second ago, we were sitting there flirting with 35,000 and now we're back down flirting with 34.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun day to watch Bitcoin. But ultimately, even if it drops back down to 30, still nothing has changed.
Yeah, guys. And with that, Smay, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay, I thought you were about to say something. So, guys, with that, let's go ahead and move on into some technical analysis on Bitcoin, because I know you guys are interested in that. But the main takeaway here, as we are always harping on, we sound like a broken record, is nothing has changed. We are seeing a discount, and we should take advantage of it. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to some Bitcoin TA. I'm going to show you what Tim was talking about, and then we're also going to look at some divergence that might be calling for lower highs here on Bitcoin. We're going to start actually down on the 4-hourly chart. We're going to come back to the daily chart, but I want to show you some analysis down here. Bitcoin has been in a descending wedge over the last week and a half or so, ever since the beginning of June. We saw our first bottom over here on June the 8th and our first high over here on June the 15th. In between $30,000 and $40,000 has Bitcoin been trading. Over that time period, we have seen volatility massively reduce. Notice Bitcoin is now trading in a much tighter range than it was just a couple of weeks ago. That is an important sign. As you move into a wedge or a triangle pattern, generally speaking, the volatility will decline, and then once that volatility declines, then you can start looking for a major breakout on high volume. Notice our volume is actually relatively high right now compared to where it was just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, out here on the daily chart, we can see that yesterday there was a major green volume candlestick as we bottomed out around $28,800. That bounce indicates that while the bears tried to push us below $30,000, they were unsuccessful, and the bulls bought it back up down there. And it just goes to show you the buying pressure that we have in the high 20s. People don't want it to go that low. That doesn't mean that it won't, though. So let's keep going here. One of the other things I want to show you has to do with these two trend lines right here. We have a downtrending level of resistance here on Bitcoin's highs. You can either draw it from the wicks on the 4-hourly or the candle bodies. It doesn't matter. I'm going to draw it from the wicks just to make things clean. And if we look down here on the RSI, you can see we have an uptrend here on the RSI's highs. This is very important to remember. The RSI is not just an overbought and oversold indicator. The RSI should be used to find RSI divergence. Divergence is when you see something not matching up with something else. It muddies the water. It makes technical analysis unclear. When all the technical indicators converge, it becomes very obvious what the market's trying to tell you because they're all in agreement. But when the market starts diverging and different indicators are saying different things, the technical analysis becomes more complicated. In this case, we are seeing divergence between the RSI and between the price. Notice, whenever you see RSI divergence, you are almost always going to see a movement that follows that RSI divergence. What does that mean? Well, whenever you see RSI divergence on the bottoms of a market in general, you will normally see an uptrend uptrend. Whenever you see RSI divergence show up on the tops of the markets, that being the price and the RSI, you will generally see a downtrend. So the question right now is, will we continue this uptrend that we've been in ever since early yesterday and break all important resistance here at $34,500? You can see it right here.
I cannot see it.
You cannot see it?
I cannot see it because I'm in a podcast.
You cannot see it because you're in a podcast.
I'm watching.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Play
we're
by
in a
play.
podcast.
What numbers are you looking at?
We are looking at $34,600 on Bitcoin. It bounced from $28,500 yesterday. Over the last 20 hours, we have rallied here, and we are currently hitting our head above and against $34,600. This level of resistance, it looks like Bitcoin wants to break because we have been moving to the upside in a very pronounced way. However, this RSI divergence that we can see on these highs right here from the 20th of June all the way to the 23rd of June at $34,800 on the 23rd of June and also $36,300 on the 20th of June, this RSI divergence indicates that we're actually going to go to downside. Bearish RSI divergence can be a reversal pattern or a continuation pattern. In this case, we're already in a downtrend on Bitcoin over the last week, so the RSI divergence indicates that we're going to continue in that direction. This is why Tim and I are both saying that we don't know that our work is done below $30,000. I talked about this on ATB yesterday. I personally believe that Bitcoin is probably going to bottom out somewhere in the mid-20s. It might have found its bottom at $28,000. There is a good reason to believe that. If we draw Fibonacci extension from the beginning of this bull market, at roughly $9,000 back over here in July of last year, you can see that the golden pocket on Bitcoin, the 61.8% and the 65% zone, shows up almost perfectly here in this $28,800 region to $30,300 region. But if that doesn't hold, our next major level of resistance or support even is $24,000 to $25,000, as Robert Kiyosaki pointed out, and $21,000 as is found here on the 78.6% level. So my take is this. Bitcoin is attempting a bounce. We've seen two bullish candlesticks over the last couple of days that do bode well for crypto. The question now is, can Bitcoin break $34,600? And if not, where is the bottom going to be? If we reject from that, we're almost certainly going to pull back down to $30,000 and have to retest that support. If we test it twice, we're probably going to break it. So that's my take on the technicals right now. There is a lot of volume going on, which is a good sign. It means volatility is likely to be coming back as well. But let's go ahead and discuss this. Tim, where do you think we are going to be going on Bitcoin over the next week or so?
The timeline is hard. And again, that's why we tell everyone when we make those weekly price predictions, don't make trades based off of that.
Yes.
We're not making trades based off of that. We're using that thought to inform our trades, but we're not making it based off of that, is because it is so hard to pinpoint. The minute you think Bitcoin's going to take a week to do something, it can do it in 2 days or a whole month. So I don't know if I can pinpoint exactly over the next week, but I do believe, especially since I am a believer that we are in a Wyckoff accumulation phase, and that we do need to go down and hit that spring. I believe we are sitting probably close to that 24 or 25.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to see because like right now we're looking at the price action happening. You know, we saw what we had on the 4-hourly chart. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles. So it's like, oh no, we're reversing the trend. We're doing well. But as Jeb talked about during the technical analysis portion, if you look at the RSI divergence, that is a bearish divergence. If you look at the descending wedge that we see happening on Bitcoin, we have a little more work to do there. And then if you look at the Wyckoff accumulation phase, and it's been playing it pretty well up to this point, we really need it to go down to 24. So to me, it's almost like, man, we need to come back down and hit the trampoline so that we can have a really good blast off.
Yeah.
But could I say that's going to happen in the next week? No, I can't say that with certainty.
Yeah, a lot of times these bottoms happen with something called a capitulation. A capitulation is where the bulls, they just give up, they just kind of lay down and they just take it. And that's what we saw happen at the end of the 2014 bear market. That's what we saw happen at the end of the 2018 bear market. The market freaking dumped, it crashed, and it dropped in both cases like 50% from where it already was, which was already like 60% retrace from all-time high. If we're going to see this bottom out, we very well may see the exact same thing. Crash, everybody gets really scared, it looks like the sky is falling for a couple of days, and then we bounce, and everybody realizes just a little too late that that was their buying opportunity, and they missed it, and they only get one of those every 4 years. It's happened before. I've witnessed it happen. Bitcoin crashes, everybody freaks out, people leave the space right when they should be getting in.
We saw a couple comments in here, like people saying, hey, that's too low, that's too low. I know, Jeb, because you agree with that. I'm going to say what I think really quickly, but I want you to even point in there. I get the argument, because even Mr. Obvious says, no way we hit, which is a great name to say this, no way we hit 24, everyone wants it. Everyone wants it, meaning Bitcoin. this is true. But guess what? When we say things haven't changed, we talked about this on the stream the other day. The true definition of a bear market has a lot of different components, and one of them is that we are not seeing new wallets come in. We are seeing new wallets come in. So we have had a price dump despite the fact that there is desire for it. What the whole purpose of Wyckoff is, and the belief that I have that we are actually adhering to it, is that Wyckoff's thing is, despite what retail investors want and are doing, institutions have a way of manipulating the market. They read the technicals they know that the retail investors won't read, and they have a way of getting things exactly where they want them. So it doesn't matter that a lot of people want Bitcoin. It doesn't matter that it's looking really nice right now. What matters is what the institutions are thinking, what they're doing, and ultimately, it doesn't matter that we don't like it. It matters that it's going to happen, and we got to be prepared for it.
Well, also, an important note is that you can't just assume that everyone who has a wallet is going to be somebody who's going to hold diamond hands.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's going to be a lot of shaky hands, a lot of people selling, a lot, like it just happens. Just because people want it doesn't mean that people are going to hold it long term and that it's going to keep the price pumping. Like, I think that that's just something to be conscious of, that the price doesn't just move because you feel like people like it. It just won't.
Yeah. So, guys, let's go ahead and move on here. We are going to answer a couple of super chats really quickly, and then we are going to talk about one of the biggest fundamental developments on Bitcoin this year, and we're going to get to that here in just a second. If you are enjoying this stream, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. We've got over 2,000 people watching and only 500 likes. Let's see if we can't pump those likes. And, guys, also, just so you know, we actually have a newsletter, and that newsletter comes out every single Friday. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you sign up down below, you're going to be getting that in your email every single Friday. I hear that it is very, very helpful. I hear that our NPS rating, which is called the Net Promoter Score, is very high. That means that a lot of people that are taking it really like it and are telling their friends about it. If you're interested, you can sign up below. Of course, you can unsubscribe if you decide it's not for you, but make sure to check that out. Let's go ahead and read some supers.
All right, so Ozzy Todd says, evening, morning, guys.
Morning.
Because I think he's from
in
Australia.
Australia.
So
Yeah.
he's saying evening for him, morning for us. Do you guys have careers outside of the cryptocurrencies? This is actually really interesting, the three he gives.
I know, I saw that.
Jeb looks like a scientist. Jeb, what did you want to be in high school?
I was going to go into astrophysics.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Tim could be a personal trainer. What was Tim doing before this job?
Being my personal trainer and
what
everyone's
did
personal
Jeb? What
trainer.
did Jeb steal me away from? I was literally about to go to school to finish what I needed to become a strength and conditioning coach on a college football team. I love working with athletes.
Yep.
So you hit it there. And then Smay, what was your favorite sport in
Well,
high
okay,
school?
that's a bit of a stretch though, because I definitely am not a basketball coach.
Hey, listen.
But
you
your
coach.
favorite sport.
But yeah,
coach
my
up.
favorite sport is basketball.
Listen, I heard the Celtics are hiring.
Oh, you know, that's a good point.
that's-
That's a good
Oh.
point. If you
Please
guys
don't leave
don't
us,
see
May.
me, it's not the dentist
May,
this time.
I don't know how to work the cameras. Don't leave.
Oh, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
All right, we got some more super chats in here. Marcus Coleman says 2018 tried trading and lost. Invested 2020 and made more money than ever thought
Yes.
possible. Do you recommend trying trading again or stick with what's working?
Look, guys, it is hard to make money in trading. You got to know what you're doing. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of experience, and a lot of people get burned. Investing is a lot easier. It takes a lot less time, and oftentimes, unless you are a very skilled trader, you're actually going to make more money investing and holding for the long run. I remember at the end of 2017, I watched a video by this guy, and he said that he had been trading all kinds of sideways, up, down, everything over the last 2 years, that being the entirety of the 2016-17 bull market. And he said that his trading portfolio actually made less money, even though he was an expert trader. His trading portfolio made less money than his investment portfolio in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I encourage you to make sure you're not missing out on investment. Now, that being said, trading is a fantastic way of gaining experience. You're going to have another perspective on the market. So even if you don't do it with much money, it is a great thing to do. It does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of experience. You do sacrifice time that you could be spending with your family or whatever. If it's your job, it's your job. But yes, I would stick with investing if you don't have the resources, that being the time and the money to trade, but trade with a small amount of money. Just get your feet wet. It is a great way of gaining experience.
Yeah. Moving on. Okay, so this was a really good one, and I don't even know, Jeb, if you know too much about this. I was doing a very small amount of research, but if you have an opinion, I want to hear it. Matt Sanchez asked, Jeb, opinions on how the NSCC 002, I don't know what they officially call it, but that's what it reads as, will affect crypto.
I don't know.
All right, so
What do you think?
shout out to Altcoin Daily. He had posted a video
Yep.
last night talking about this. So I was reading, I watched his video, and then I went and did a little reading. So I might get this a little off. So you guys can let me know in chat if I'm off. But ultimately, what the whole video is talking about is it's fun. You know, we've been manipulated. We've been all this stuff. Even when it comes to the Fed and the government, what their role is going to be, the SEC has come out and said these regulations coming are not going to be crypto regulations. They're actually going to be like meme stonks, like, you know, with everything that we just saw happen with AMC and GameStop. So they're going to be addressing those things. And the only reason it'll touch cryptocurrency is because it will have an effect on the way people post articles and write comments and do futures trading, manipulating the price. So ultimately, it's not going to directly affect crypto. It will affect it in the long run because it will. The video is very clear. One thing I love about Altcoin Daily is how well he investigates and breaks down the news.
Shout out to Austin and Aaron. They're great.
Yeah, Austin and
I've met
Aaron are
both of them.
phenomenal.
They're
We'd
good
love to
people.
have them on the show.
Yeah.
If you are watching, Austin and Aaron, hit us up.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what he's really pointing out is what you need to know about it is the SEC has come out and said, guys, we are not, at this point at least, going after cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano to create regulations. Obviously, XRP is still dealing with their lawsuit thing, but at this point, the regulations in there. Speaking of XRP, if you guys want to watch a very fascinating video, go watch yesterday's interview with Matt Hamilton. Very enlightening to me. I'll let you guys watch it and decide for yourself what you think.
Great
but
video.
It was a lot of fun to shoot, first of all. But ultimately, going back to what we were saying, the NSCC 002 pretty much was a report confirming that everything that came out saying that the Fed and the SEC and everyone were trying to ban crypto was nothing more than what it looked like. What we called it is FUD.
FUD.
So
Can I ask, because you did the research and this is a little bit off topic, but
Yeah.
so did it say like in what way they were trying to regulate how people talk about stocks? Like, is it to?
he goes into detail. Like I said, I could not say word for word what they said, but
So just because like are they going after the people on Reddit or are they going after?
we will do more. We will do
hedge
more
fund?
research, and
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
not comfortable
Yeah,
answering
yeah.
that at this
Yeah, okay.
time.
All right, cool. We'll talk about that later.
Interesting. All right, guys. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to talk about 3 different cryptocurrencies that have had some crazy days, and I want to hear a lot of what Tim has to say about one of these, which is Chiliz. Guys, there have been 3 major movers.
Whoa! We have
What
an
is it?
intro for major movers.
Oh!
Wah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Major movers.
Major movers.
Major movers. All right, it's time. Go.
Let's see it. I cannot wait to see
I
I don't even know.
already
You
did the
ran it?
intro. Go.
I know.
Oh, we'll have to watch it
I know
later.
you ran it. I haven't even seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Guys,
yes.
we have 3 major movers this week. One of them is Cardano. The other one is Solana, and the third one is Chiliz. Cardano is coming in number 1 because Cardano is one of the fastest growing decentralized identification protocols that also has smart contracts launching, and it is a contender for the number 1 decentralized application altcoin. It is trying to compete with Ethereum. Solana is one of the fastest transactional throughput cryptocurrencies in the entire space, which can handle over 50,000 TPS, and Chiliz is working in the sports world. Let's start with Chiliz. Tim, what are your thoughts on Chiliz? And what has Chiliz been doing this week?
I love Chiliz. So first of all, even though they can't see this, the podcast will hear it. I'm gonna go look at my chart on what is happening there. I think we were talking about it earlier. If you go to the hourly chart and you look what's happening there, we actually have an inverse head and shoulders pattern forming,
Yeah, I'm
but
bringing
we
it
have
up.
not broke through the resistance. So for those who listen on the podcast, we have an ascending level of resistance that needs to break through before we confirm that before we can confirm and kind of make a prediction on where we think the price is going bullish. However, when it comes to the fundamentals of Chiliz, for those who do not know, we've talked about it a little bit. It is a sports-based coin and ultimately was first created for the sake of helping fans get into sports betting, which again is a big thing in the world. I think even in the United States, recently we've opened up the boundary on that. It used to be very illegal in certain scenarios, and now it's becoming legalized. But Chiliz is the way through cryptocurrency that fans can actually be able to do that, and a nice little way to do it. But what makes Chiliz even more interesting, because ultimately, as cool as it is to enable people to bet, I don't think that in and of itself would have made Chiliz be an amazing project. What makes Chiliz so cool, and we just saw this whole last year with COVID, when fans weren't allowed to go interact with their teams, they were forced to just watch on TV. We saw the teams' money go down. We saw the fan engagement go down. What Chiliz is seeking to fix that by is allowing fans to not only interact more with the team, but maybe even be part of decision making. So again, there's several large soccer clubs in Europe, and I'm saying soccer because we're here in the United States, but for those of you who are outside the United States, football, it allows you to maybe make some decisions like what uniforms does the team wear that day. It allows you to be engaged with the team, and on some of the smaller clubs, you can actually be a part of helping choose the lineup. One of the thoughts they said, if it ever does come to American football, is we saw this tested out in one of the little leagues in football last year, but maybe you might even be a part of the play calling. Chilliz seeks to engage their fans that way. And another thing is you can make money by being a fan of a good team, because when you buy tokens through Chilliz for your team, like let's say, for example, you bought Barcelona tokens and then Barcelona wins a game, what happens is there's a certain level of Barcelona tokens that get burned, which means any token you were holding obviously goes up in price. So all the way around, the sports industry is, one of the most lucrative industries in the world.
Yeah.
And Chilliz, in my opinion, I know there's others that are seeking to get involved, but I think Chilliz has the forefront and the first mover advantage in the sports world in crypto.
With that said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the technicals here on Chilliz. As we are going to go ahead and do, we can look at the last 24-hour major movers, and we can see that Chilliz is our third place contestant. It is currently sitting at plus 20% over the last 24 hours. And if we look at its chart, as Tim was talking, I don't know if it was up or not, but I was doing some technical analysis here on Chilliz, and I want to run you through what I have found. The very first thing to point out is that down here on the hourly chart, we are seeing a bearish MACD cross. That does indicate that we're going to see some bearish price action over the next couple of hours, but I will show you why that might not come as far to pass as we think. One thing I also want to point out is that Chilliz is currently sitting above its 20-hourly exponential moving average. That 20-hourly EMA is a very important level that Chilliz needs to hold, because if it doesn't, it is probably going to bounce. It's probably going to break below that and push quite a bit lower, maybe down into the low 20s. Right now, we also have a very important level of resistance sitting at 25 cents. You guys can see that this resistance level shows up as a major level of support and resistance on May the 29th, May the 30th, June 4th, June 5th. It also uses it as support on June 10th and June 13th. 25 cents on Chilliz is a very important zone of support and resistance to pay attention to. We can also see over the last couple of days that Chilliz has gone through a major inverse head and shoulders pattern starting back here on June the 21st. The last 2 days, Chilliz has shown a very strong inverse head and shoulders pattern here, which leads us to the question, if this inverse head and shoulders pattern points to the upside, and this 9 flash on the TD sequential, as you can see, points to the upside, and this bullish RSI divergence, as you can see, points to the upside, then what should we listen to? Right now, what we are witnessing is something called divergence of technical indicators and chart formations. Whenever you see certain technical indicators and chart formations pointing in one direction, and then other technical indicators and chart formations pointing in another direction, then that is where your wisdom and your experience in TA has to come into play. So on the bullish side, we have the inverse head and shoulders pattern. We have this bullish 9 flash down here on TD sequential, and we have this RSI divergence here on the hourly chart. On the bearish side, we have strong resistance that we have hit our head against multiple times here at 25 cents and a bearish MACD cross. So what happens? In this case, I'm going to lean in the bullish direction, but I also want to keep in mind that the entire cryptocurrency market right now is pretty bearish. Chilliz, just like Ethereum, just like all the other cryptocurrencies, are coupled to Bitcoin. It's cuffing season after all, and people want to make sure, and altcoins want to make sure that they're following Bitcoin, and we're going to see the same thing happen here. A lot of what Chilliz does over the next couple of days is going to be dictated by what Bitcoin does over the next couple of days, but in general, the short-term technical analysis is very bullish, and we should be expecting over the next couple of days to see even more bullishness come to your favorite sports betting token. With that said, let's go ahead and discuss that. Chat, what do you think about Chilliz? Do you think it's about to bounce? Do you think it's about to crash? And what do you think about its fundamentals? Smay, do you have anything to add on Chilliz? I know you're a big sports fan as well.
Yeah, I don't like soccer that much, but I will say that
I clarify, but it is football. It is the original football. And it actually makes more sense. As big of an American football fan as I am, it makes more sense to call that
soccer
sport football.
Yeah, that's true.
And yes, and I will also say that I also really do. I'm really bullish on the bloomin' onion. They don't have a bloomin' onion thing. It's somebody
That's Outback.
Someone
That's
freaked
Outback.
me out, man.
But the baby back ribs is Chilliz.
Yeah, I'm bullish on the baby back ribs.
Big Office fan.
I like their original chicken crispers as well. They're really good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so guys, we're going.
There's a couple things. So Polvito mentioned. I forgot to say this. Polvito, thank you for reminding me. Even the UFC, which is a I think UFC at this point is the fastest growing professional sport.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's the largest, just means the fastest growing. UFC is coming to Chiliz as well. That's pretty phenomenal.
I thought they already played UFC at Chili's.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to. There's a couple of things. So I do want to answer. People asked. I saw a couple people echoing this, and I'm going to be very short. JPV16 asked, "Did the interview with Matt Hamilton change your mind on XRP, Tim?" What she said, Crypto Beard. It changed my mind on discouraging people from buying it. I will say I am not yet. People are like, "Oh, Tim's about to buy a large bag of XRP." I'm not there yet. I have some questions, but I've been in contact with Matt. I look forward to Matt coming back on the show, coming back in the channel often. I think Matt's one of my new best friends. I love that guy. If you don't know who Matt Hamilton is, look him up, follow him. I think he does a lot of his streams on Twitch. What was it called?
Twitch.
Twitch.
It's
Okay.
Twitch, yeah.
And extremely, extremely knowledgeable guy.
Yep.
Love talking with him. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch yesterday's video. It's 30 minutes, but it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm back to major movers.
Yeah.
Back to major movers, guys.
I almost feel like I need to run the intro again.
I
just
know,
'cause-
I know.
Yeah, we have another major mover that we have to talk about, and that would be Solana. Guys, as we can see here, Solana over on CoinMarketCap is up 46% in the last 24 hours. Guys, Solana is the fastest transactional throughput cryptocurrency in the entire ecosystem, and built on top of it is a game called Star Atlas that we're going to be talking about more in future streams. This is a major project. I'm not going to go into all the fundamentals right now, but I do want to show you what the technicals look like, so let's go ahead and jump on to the chart. Solana is up, as I said, 46% over the last couple of days. We did some technical analysis on Solana yesterday, I think it was. It might have been Monday, but we have talked about it recently. It bottomed out here right around $20. A lot of people bought in on these dips, and it was a wise move. We saw that the 9 flash hit right here, the RSI and the MACD were reversing, and we also saw very quickly Solana bounced above its 20 daily exponential moving average. Very similar to what we saw on Chiliz, we have seen an inverse head and shoulders pattern forming on Solana, and Solana is now moving to the upside. Now, also very similar to Chiliz, there is a major level of resistance that we are contending with for anyone looking for continued upwards movement on Solana. Notice right here at $34, there was a touch of support here on June the 8th. There's a touch of support here on June the 4th. There was resistance here on May the 27th, and there was even more support over here on June the 12th. $34 to $35, depending on where exactly you want to draw it, is incredibly powerful resistance for Solana, and Solana is going to need to break through that. Out here on the 4-hourly chart, we can also see 4-hourly TD sequential called for a correction, a bounce to the upside, and that has occurred. We've now seen a bullish MACD cross, and RSI is sitting pretty around 50. We've also seen on the 4-hourly chart, the price, has rallied above the 20 exponential moving average, but one thing I want to warn you of is that we have a couple of very tall upper wicks here. Normally, whenever you see very tall upper wicks and very small bodies, it indicates that the bulls tried to move to the upside, but the bears were successful at holding them down. That is something that you want to pay attention to. The last 12 hours here on Solana have been relatively flat. We saw a major move about 20 hours ago. That's where the major mover comes in. That's where a lot of the gains over the last 24 hours happened. But over the last 3 hours, we haven't seen, over the last 3 4-hourly candlesticks and periods, we haven't seen a whole lot. What Solana needs to do next, it needs to break the $34 price level. If it can do that, then it continue into a major rally. We also want to make sure that it holds this $20 level of support that we touched as support on the 23rd of May and just yesterday, because if we don't, then Solana is probably going to dump quite a lot. Whether or not that will occur, again, has a lot to do with Bitcoin. These markets tend to move very similar to Bitcoin, but they do their own thing within that similarities. You can follow, but you don't have to mirror exactly, so it is important that we do technical analysis on these projects as well. Tim, what are your thoughts on Solana the project and Solana the price?
Ooh, okay. So, I love me some Solana. I was interacting with chat. Did you mention again on the 1-hourly chat? We have a chart. We actually have that inverse head and shoulders again. Okay, good.
Yep.
So that's sorry. Sometimes, guys, I'm reading chat and I don't get to hear every single word that Jeb says. We're trying to work on fixing that because I want to interact better. But as far as the fundamentals are concerned with Solana, we are looking at another. We've said this on the channel before where we've kind of like almost pitted some of the top altcoins against each other. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that one will kill the other. There's no such thing as an Ethereum killer. The only thing that will kill Ethereum is Ethereum itself.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as Cardano killer. Cardano could kill itself. Solana is another top altcoin on the move that will rival and be up there with Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot. The thing that we have talked about a little bit, and you know what, we said we're going to do a whole stream about it. We might even do more details on this as it comes out. But probably the most exciting and scary thing about Solana is its project. What's the name of that?
Star Atlas.
Star Atlas. Oh
Star
my
Atlas.
goodness! Now I'm not a gamer.
I am.
However, I have seen the movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what Star Atlas is, it is a project being worked on by Solana that is real life Ready Player One. The concern is obviously, will people get lost in it? Will people get start having just a twisted view on reality? There's already talk about some of the downside of it is that one of the incentives that you can do is literally make money in the game by pretty much being like a pirate or like a thief. And what's crazy is, it's one thing when you're playing on video games, and I know that current day video games have money, you can make money from it. But ultimately, when you get in the game, you can make billions and billions and billions of dollars in the game. Then you got to get up, go to work, make real money. And when it comes to Star Atlas, you can literally put money into the game, go in, do things, make a whole life, get money, and come back out of the game. So it actually, if you were a pirate or a thief, you could literally make a lot of money being a criminal on the game. And that's where the problem comes in. Will people be able to distinguish between reality and the fake world? And that is my concern. But at the same time, when you talk about a project that people, whether you like the project or not, people are going to buy and use, Star Atlas is intriguing.
It opens up the door that people don't understand that, guys, whether you want to play the game or not, and whether the game is really good, cool or not, the fact that now this is like crypto busting into the gaming the sector,
huge.
It is such a gigantic market, guys. The gaming market is like a multi-billion-dollar market. Just that's completely untapped by crypto right now. That now we're seeing the Solana making a game that could potentially become a very, very popular game. And I don't know if it's actually Solana developing the game. I think somebody developing it on Solana, but I digress. I think that that is something that's really exciting, not only if you want to play the game, but to be an investor in Solana. It will make you a lot of money, I'm pretty sure, if the game is good.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest if, because you can't just assume because somebody's making an ambitious game that it's going to be good. It could suck.
No,
So
we've
we'll
seen
see.
that happen many times with these open world games with procedural generation and everything. That one game that came out in 2016. You guys know what I'm talking about if you're a gamer. Guys, we have one I know you don't, Tim, because you're not a gamer.
It's No Man's Sky. Just
No
for
Man's
anybody
Sky.
who-
That's what I was talking about. Everybody in chat probably got that one. By the way, I have a question for y'all. What is your favorite video game? Put a 1 by that. And what is your favorite TV show? Put a 2 by that. Let me hear what you have to say in chat over there. And guys, we have an announcement that we want to make here. It's really something that we've already talked about. And that is that we are currently running a sale on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you guys don't already know what CT2A is, it is the academy that I created nearly 3 years ago, where I teach our students everything that they need to know about technical analysis so that they can go and become profitable traders and investors in the cryptocurrency space. If you want to get started, you should certainly check us out with the link in the description box down below. We have 4,000 students. Drop a 1 in chat if you love CT2A, because the price is going to be rising on Friday. Right now, the price is at $349 for 36, 37 now videos and 12 hours of high-quality content. It's about to go to $399. Anyone that has any questions about that, feel free to email us at support@cryptojeb.com. Tim, you look like you have something you want to say.
No, I have absolutely nothing I want to say, because I'm looking at the comments about the games, and this is a world I do not like. This is why I'm bullied, guys, in the office, because I do not know the world.
I don't play video
of
games either.
But yet you still bully me, and that's
Dang,
we're supposed to have
wow.
an alliance.
We are an alliance. I don't bully you.
You bully
You've
him.
done
my
better.
friend.
I will say, Smay, you've done better. Actually, the whole office done better. We take seriously no bullying in this office, and
Yeah.
they took the slap hard, and now
Slap hard?
people
No
are being
one slapped
nicer.
me.
Yeah.
We had to slap down on the office.
Yeah,
no
you heard it
bullying.
here first, folks. Tim slapped me, and I was very unhappy about
Yeah,
it. It hurts.
guys, he
It
beats
hurts.
us to get us to work.
He beats
guys.
us. He
Wow,
beats
wow,
us,
wow.
guys. Anyway, guys, we have one final cryptocurrency that we need to talk about, and then we're going to move on to our predictions, and then we're going to wrap it out really quickly. Before I do that, though, I do want to encourage you guys to check out Bybit. We have a link for that down below. You guys already know what Bybit is by now. It's a fantastic trading platform. It's the #1 leverage trading platform in the world for a reason, and if you sign up with the link down below, you will be helping to support this channel. Our third major mover is Cardano. Cardano, as we can see over here on my screen, is up quite a bit over the last 24 hours. If I can find it here, it looks like it's moved. Where is Cardano? ADA. You're hiding from me. There it is. Cardano is up 13.27% over the last 24 hours, and we want to go ahead and do some technical analysis on it. Cardano's chart, as you can see, looks very similar to Solana's chart. And in fact, there are a lot of similarities between the projects as well. What we have seen happen over the last 24 hours on Cardano is just like on Chilliz and just like on Solana, we've seen an inverse head and shoulders pattern form, and we bottomed out around critical support, and we have critical resistance right above us that we need to break out. All of these charts look very similar, but there are differences. And it's important that you do analysis on all of these charts, not just one, and try and apply what your technical analysis says on one to the other, because you will get burned if you do that too often. Nevertheless, here on Cardano, we're in a very similar position to where we are on Solana and Chilliz. We have resistance right here at $1.32. I can show you where that comes from. Over the last 6 months almost, there's been a ton of trading around $1.32, namely in early May. We saw a bottom here on $1.32 exactly on the 29th of May, and a bottom here at $1.35, which is very close, on the 11th of June, among other support and resistance touches. Right now, Cardano is sitting at $1.28, and it needs to break that $1.32 if it wants to continue into a rally. Looking at the TD sequential, we can also see on the hourly chart and the 4-hourly chart that we have hit a 9 flash, and that indicates bullishness. We've seen a bullish MACD cross, and we've also seen some bullish RSI divergence over the course of the last 24 to 48 hours on Cardano. As I said, the technicals right now are very similar to what we're seeing on Chilliz and Solana. However, on Cardano, we are not above the 20 EMA. We are on these other charts down on the 4-hourly. Right now, Cardano is not. It is still trading sideways around it. So there's a potential that Cardano could reject here and pull back to $1. Whether or not that happens is going to be contingent on whether or not Cardano can get above a zone of resistance between $1.28 and $1.32. Now, Tim, I forgot what your price prediction is for Friday, but I know you have some thoughts on Cardano and where it is going. What do you think Cardano is going to be looking like a week from now?
My prediction is 120. Again, this one's a hard one to read. What I have on my chart is we also have a descending wedge happening there. Which Cardano's, again, we've said this several times, Cardano doesn't always play by all the rules. We had it break on the 4-hourly chart above it for, like, I think 3 candlesticks stayed above the level of resistance, I think on June 20th, and then we had a lot of candlesticks within the last couple of days that were below, but now we're back up inside of it. It is looking like it's about to break. It's weird. Cardano, Ethereum, all altcoins, really, are following Bitcoin price. And so while I'm looking at my chart and I'm expecting, if I was doing nothing but looking at technical analysis of Cardano, and if Cardano had completely decoupled from the rest of cryptocurrency, it is looking to me like a great time to get in. I think we're going to see a rise. The problem is, I don't know if I can say the same for Bitcoin, and unfortunately, because I think that we potentially might see Bitcoin drop again, I'm expecting we're going to see all the altcoins drop again. It's only Wednesday, so we have a lot to see till Friday, but all of us right now are underneath our predictions. It's way above. I do think, not that anybody's going to hit it right on the head, but I don't think that I have a fear that the entire crypto market at the moment was in a nice little bounce back, but it's more of like a bull trap than it is a strong movement and correction to the upside. Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing right now, guys. I really think that we're in a bull trap, like Tim just said, on Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market. Look, we have seen so much bearishness that I think a lot of people are skeptical to get into the market right now, and I think we're going to have to see a slow build. I don't really expect us to see this massive V-bottom where we just crash and bounce, but what I do think we're probably going to see is some continued sideways trading and some continued downwards movement, and then we are going to start to see people become more confident, and we're going to have more of a rounded bottom over the next couple of months. With that said, let's go ahead and read the rest of the super chats. We'll read our price predictions, and when we will wrap it
Is that the end
out.
of Major Movers?
That is indeed.
All right, then
oh man, we got some cool new things.
Major Movers, guys. Thank you for watching the Major Movers. Major Movers.
I can't wait to watch that back and see what is actually happening.
Fun fighters.
We got a lot of super chats, so I'm gonna go through them quickly. Brian Vaughn said, "From Phoenix, go Suns, rust the Clippers." Listen, without what's his? Oh man, why am I blanking on his name? Gosh,
I don't know his name.
Yeah, you definitely know. This may help me out.
Who?
Kawhi Leonard. Without Kawhi Leonard, I don't know what the Clippers really have.
Yep, don't know who that is.
Paul George is okay. I'm not a.
Oh wait, what was the
fan.
question? Sorry.
Oh wow, okay, pay attention. Okay,
I was reading.
It wasn't a question.
People
Just
were being
from
mean
Phoenix,
to me in
Joe
chat.
Suns, rust the Clippers. I think he's right. I think I don't know about a 4. I think maybe the Clippers will steal one game.
No, listen. It's gonna be the finals. Gonna be Atlanta and the Suns, and that's how it should be. That's how
Atlanta.
Yeah, you know why?
Atlanta.
Why? Because they were at one point in the last 5 years the 2 worst teams in the league, and now they're about to be in the finals. How poetic is that? I love it. It's beautiful.
Not gonna happen.
It's
All
definitely
right.
not gonna
Ozzy
be Milwaukee, I'll
Todd
tell you
said
that.
Tim's hat equals Ripple XRP Maxi after the video.
Oh my gosh.
Good call. I'm not an XRP Maxi, but I am now friends with XRP. Is a good way to put it. I don't hate them.
It is an Under Armour logo.
But I'm not ready to call it my number one coin. But it was fun. Kenneth Gardner said, had a problem buying CT2A last night. Send an email. So, yeah, great thing. We will make sure to get back to you. Kenneth, I'm going to make sure we have a note where we go looking for you. But just so you guys know, if you ever email us with a query, for sure, email again if you don't get a response within 48 hours. But our goal, we have a ticket system set up to where we are getting back to everyone within 48 hours because we are not staffed enough to answer every single email that comes in within the first 5 minutes. But we will get back to you as soon as possible. So, Kenneth, if you don't hear back by the end of today, again, I'm going to specifically go look for you and make sure our team handles that. But if you don't, email again, and you'll be picked up on the second one. Blimmer Hyped said, love this channel. Advice has led me to my prediction. I'll announce today on Insta, and his Insta is trending Bitcoin will be backed by research. I don't know if that's his Insta, actually.
No, I was gonna say,
trending Bitcoin will be hacked by research.
He paid for an ad spot. That's what that was.
That's a strategy.
It worked.
I don't know his name, though. Blimmer Hyped? I don't know. Anyway, Corey said, favorite game is Halo Trilogy. Favorite
Ooh.
show is DBZ.
Ooh.
Ew,
I've no
disgusting.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball
Dragon
Z.
Ball.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Dragon
love
Ball.
you, but I absolutely hate your taste in shows.
Oh, man.
Dang. Oof. Roasted. My favorite game is The Last of Us, and my favorite TV show is Burn Notice. That's a great TV show.
Very good, very good.
I just saw someone's... Okay, well, you guys look at chat. Tell me... I saw an interesting comment a second ago, but I lost it.
I have a lot of favorite games.
All right. Oh, Matt Sanchez, which I think Matt Sanchez has been commenting to me. I think Matt Sanchez is an XRP guy. So, Matt, I love you. I'm give me a little more time before I jump into XRP
Give me a little more time.
completely.
Give me a little more time.
Matt Sanchez says, let's get 1,000 likes. This channel is way undervalued.
Yes,
I
sir.
agree with you, Matt, on
go.
both accounts.
Let's go.
But
Thank you, Matt.
then the last one I have, unless something's popped up that I haven't seen, from Matt C, says, another great stream, guys. That's all I got. Thank you. Matt C, you are the GOAT.
He
as
keeps
we
the lights
say
on
every
around
day.
here. Yeah.
Every day.
Keeps the lights on around
You're paying, literally, I actually
literally-
think,
I think he
an
might
argument
be-
can be made that he
He might
pays
actually be paying
salaries.
Smay.
Yeah.
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 We
And
appreciate
according
that.
to Tom H, he probably should stop, but
Dang.
I don't think you guys understand that
When
without me this wouldn't be a thing.
When does the CT2A discount ends? It ends tomorrow at midnight. So you have through tomorrow, which is Thursday the 24th, to use coupon code THANKYOU to get $40 off on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you need to know why you should join, I will tell you. It's very simple. The best investment you will ever make is an investment in yourself. 4,000 people have taken that investment, and they are telling us every single day how much they are thankful that they did. Drop a 1 in chat if you're an alumni of CT2A and you are loving every single last minute of it.
And I love it because you guys. This is not just a crypto skill. This is a skill you can take everywhere.
Oh,
every
absolutely.
chart. It's
Ooh,
great.
Corey donated $5, another $5 because Jeb just said Burn Notice. Michael Weston, Fiona Glennan, and Sam. I forgot his last name because it's been a few years, but it's a great show. You guys should check it out. Anywho, I think we need to move on to price predictions. I think we're gonna wrap it out.
Yes. All right, so here we are. We just said a little bit ago, we are well underneath what the market currently is. So this is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. Currently, Bitcoin is sitting at 34,000, pretty much on the dot, give or take $50. Ethereum sitting literally $2 below 2,000 in 1998, and Cardano is sitting at $1.27, flirting with $1.28. That would put Jeb ahead on Bitcoin because his was the highest at 28,800. Mine was the lowest at 28,000. So poor Smay sandwiched there with his $28,069. But either way, Jeb is leading there. So there, 1 point for cut the beard, burn the truck. Or no, cut the beard,
Cut the beard, chop the tree.
chop the tree.
Yeah.
The tree.
Thanks,
We
Josh
have not
Haynes.
called you a tree in a while.
Thanks, Joshua
Smay.
Haynes.
We
I'm not
need
a
to
tree.
change that hashtag. He is the Smayatang.
Smee the tree.
Ethereum, I'm in the lead with the highest prediction, which is 1,800. Jeb is the lowest at 1,750, and again, Smay is sandwiched at 1,769.
Rough.
So we will see if that helps. I would love to win the predictions this week. I honestly didn't think that they were going to go below 1,800. I didn't, and they went 50 below me, so that sucks. And then the last one, Cardano. Again, I'm in the lead with $1.20. We can see if that changes. Jeb is. I like Jeb's prediction at 114. That's a good bet. We will see. It's going to be really close. We could hit 69 cents as Smay predicts, but I would be very surprised. I think that was more of a troll vote than actually anything real.
No, I think that was a legitimate vote.
Anyway, let us know what
Why
you
would
guys
that be a
think in
troll?
the comment. He's just. I mean,
I don't know why that'd be a
let
troll.
us know what you guys think in the comments. Come back Friday, see who wins. Ultimately, I think Smay's won twice,
Yep.
and Jeb's won once, which is okay because Smay and I have an arrangement where we are team burn the truck. So ultimately,
Rude.
we're ahead. But let's see if Team Tim pulls a W this week.
Can I say my favorite game and my favorite show?
Sure.
Real quick.
Okay, guys. My favorite show is either Naruto or
Weeb.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Weeb.
Oh, Avatar: The Last Airbender is an American show.
Yeah.
All right.
Weeaboo.
Also, Adventure Time is a great show. And also, my favorite game is Red Dead Redemption 2 or Fallout 4.
Those are
games
both great games.
Well, I never said mine actually. I have
Okay.
one game I play, one game only.
Let's go.
FIFA. Someone said it earlier in the
FIFA.
chat. I forgot. I do play FIFA. That game is
What's
awesome.
your favorite show?
My favorite show is the easiest answer in the world.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what it is. What the
The Office.
He has a
Yeah,
PhD
The
It is
in
the
The
greatest
Office.
show of all time.
He has
I've
a
watched
PhD
it probably
in The
30
Office.
times through, and
He's
I
not
still
even kidding.
need to watch
He's
it
literally
more.
not kidding. I live with this guy. He's not joking.
So-
he has a literal PhD. It's framed and plaqued in his room. It's crazy.
Michael Scott is the GOAT.
Oh my
That's all I
gosh.
got.
Oh my
Let's wrap
gosh,
it
a
up.
guy called the Nine Tails of Naruto logo said Naruto.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying, guys. Let's go.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it out for today's stream. If you enjoyed today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure that we know how much you enjoyed today's stream. Smash the dislike button twice if you really hated it, so we know how much you really despised being here. We had a little bit of hate in chat, but I very much appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to check out the discount on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy because you are never going to see this price again. We have to raise the price because we're adding 10 new videos over the next 8 weeks to the CT2A that you guys have come to know and love. But guys, that's all we got for today. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video
And podcast.
and podcast. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.